Okay, let's go.
A Carnival Cruise Line guest asks, is there enough to do when a cruise ship is in port?
A kid's epic Wi-Fi withdrawal on a Disney cruise goes viral.
Norwegian Cruise Line just started charging $10 if you ghost your dinner reservation. But guests love it. All that and more on this episode of Cruise News.
Welcome to Gen X Cruise Life. If you know that star 69ing somebody is not an indecent act, then this is the cruise show for you. You know, Carnival cruise guests have been complaining that there's nothing to do on the cruise ship on port days.
Even on the Mardi Gras.
Imagine being on a cruise ship as big as the Carnival Mardi Gras with, water slides, they got a roller coaster, pools, and a million places to eat, and still saying there's nothing to do on this ship.
Well, this particular guest actually complained to John Heald, the Carnival brand ambassador, and I'm going to read to you their complaint. Why are there never enough activities when the ship is docked at an island? Half the ship stayed on board and we were bored. We need more shows, music, movies, trivia, and competitions.
Yeah. So to his credit, John Heald came back and he didn't argue with the guy. He says he's going to talk to his people.
Pass it up.
Yeah, pass it up. But he did do a survey, and 2,700 people responded, and the vast majority of those people said, yeah, I just get off at the port. I'm not really worried about what's going on the ship, and I don't really care if the water slides are going because, Nassau, here we come.
Right. Well, on this particular day, wasn't there bad weather?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the context to this story, because it really wasn't an apples to apples comparison. On this particular sailing at multiple ports, there was bad weather. So a lot of people didn't get off the ship. Right? So it comes back to that whole thing. Why do they shut everything down when you're at port?
Well, even if they kept it open, do you really want to go out to the pool or be hanging out, going down the water slide? And the roller coaster, if it's raining, probably couldn't run anyway.
Right.
So I think the real thing here is that they maybe need to do more shows and have more of the trivia and the other things that they were talking about. More indoor activities.
Well, we've heard other complaints, and honestly, we can kind of, understand them a little bit too, because there's times, I don't think we've ever missed a port necessarily, but there are times when we come back early.
Yes, because the weather was bad. I can think of one port in particular on our last cruise. Yeah.
And there's times where we were just tired, or there wasn't a lot to do there, a lot to see there. So we're back at noon, ship's not going to pull out of port until 5. And honestly, I want to hit the water slides.
Yeah, or the pool because it's empty.
Right. And sometimes they don't have them running, and that is a complaint that I can relate to for sure.
And not everything's open, like the main dining room usually isn't open for lunch during port days. So a lot of stuff is shut down. They're not doing a lot of activities like bingo and trivia.
Yeah, and if I was the cruise, king of the day, I would say for one thing, come on, Royal, get the flow rider open on port days.
Well, this story's about Carnival.
I know.
This complaining is about Carnival. But I think what you mean is that it's an issue throughout.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. But that's just my personal gripe. So you're off the hook on this one, Carnival, for that part of it.
Because you don't have a flow rider. So John Heald also mentioned that a lot of these activities are shut down during port days because the crew exit the ship. It's actually their time off. They need a little R&R too. And I know you've talked to crew members and they've mentioned this, that they look forward to these days.
Yeah, I always talk to the waiters in the main dining room, find out where they're from, how they like their job, all that kind of thing. And what I found out is that they're all on a set schedule. So maybe at one port, a certain amount of the staff are able to leave the ship if they want to, and at the next port, some other portion of the staff is able to exit the ship, and that's how they do it. So that's where their time off is at the ports.
And it's also when they can do their shopping and restock on things like shampoos for themselves, etc. So that's just an interesting point.
So, it kind of makes you wonder, is this something that's an internal problem within each person? Is it something that, maybe they could find a way to be happy and things to do on the ship?
Us Gen Xers, we're, I guess, a little bit more resilient because we were dropped off at the mall with $5 in a Walkman, and we entertained ourselves all day long, and we figured out how to get home. So what about you? Do you like to stay on the ship during port days if maybe you're not so excited about the island? And what sort of activities have you found to be entertaining? Leave us a comment below.
Hey guys, we're a brand new channel. We still have that new channel smell. And if you like what we're doing, hit that like and subscribe button. And for this next story, and we covered this a couple of weeks ago with Royal Caribbean. They came out with this first, and now Norwegian is jumping on the bandwagon, and they are going to be charging if you bail out on your specialty dining.
Yeah, $10. So they are giving people the option to change their reservation or cancel their reservation. And if they do so within a certain time period, then they won't be charged. But this is basically to stop this very annoying habit that people have. These are like the chair hogs down at the pool. You know, these are the people that go down at 6 a.m. and put out their towels on 5 or 10 chairs, and then they never show up, or they come by at noon, and you have all these empty chairs that are not being used. It's the same thing with the specialty dining. People sign up immediately, they make reservations, they take all the slots, and then they don't show up. And the people that do want to dine at the specialty dining are out of luck. That's happened to us.
It happens all the time. You get on the cruise ship, you look at your app, and you say, oh, let's book, for this night, we'll do, and everything's full. It's full the day you get on the ship sometimes. And that is so annoying. So we couldn't be happier about this.
Yeah.
Good for Royal and now good for Norwegian. Yeah. This is awesome.
This is actually very popular with the Norwegian guests. They love this.
They love it. And
we're not the only ones annoyed.
You still have up to 2 hours before your reservation to cancel. And if you don't, they're going to charge you $10 per person.
And you can cancel on the app. You can go to guest services. You can go to the reservation desk. There's multiple ways to cancel. You have no excuses.
You know, before they instituted these new changes, walking up to the restaurant and trying to get in, without a reservation was about as likely as getting a Cabbage Patch doll on Christmas Eve in 1983. It just wasn't happening. Yeah, those fights at Toys R Us were brutal.
Tell us the truth. Have you ever ghosted a specialty dining reservation? And do you think $10 is enough to discourage this kind of behavior? Leave it in the comments below.
So this next story, to be honest, we didn't even really want to do. It kind of even has Suzanne a little perturbed, but it involves a viral video, and being that it's as big as it is, and we're here to, provide what the cruise news is, here we go.
So there's this family that went on board a Disney cruise ship, and as Nate said, they got on board. The child realized they didn't have Wi-Fi, and he lost his
ever-loving mind.
Yeah. Parents filmed it, put it on TikTok, and that's where the judgy part comes in. I don't really agree with doing that as a parent. But then we got another key piece of information about this child. We found out that he's actually on the autism spectrum, and having a close family member that has autism, we understand that you can't change their schedules.
100%.
It's very difficult for them to adjust to new circumstances, and going on board a very busy and loud and colorful ship like that, and then not having some of your creature comforts could cause the meltdown. So I have a lot of empathy for the parents.
Yeah, rest assured, I know some of you might be concerned. Just because we heard that key piece of information doesn't mean we're not going to be judgy. We reserve the right. And starting with, what are you doing filming it and putting it on the internet?
Yeah.
It's your kid. Somebody at some time, they're going to look back and regret this.
I think maybe because he's on the spectrum, he might not realize that that's actually something that happened to him. And I do know that a lot of parents who are raising children like that do feel alone and do feel like there isn't that sense of community.
Right.
So I think maybe that could be the reason why they put the video online, just to let other parents know this can happen to your child. If your child is on the spectrum, you go on a major cruise line and it's loud and it's noisy and there's all these strangers around, make sure you pack the creature comforts. Make sure you check to see that they have Wi-Fi if your child is dependent on that in order to soothe themselves.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really kind of where I came out at the end of the story.
Right. Well, and the good news
Less
is
judgy.
There was a happy ending to this. Little background: the kid's name is Luca. He does have autism, and he's
adorable.
He is, and he got over it really quickly and ended up having a great time on the cruise.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Happy ending on that. But we want to know what you think. I mean, is it good to document everything your kid does and let the world see it?
Yeah.
And
also the Wi-Fi aspect of it. We've traveled with our two youngest Gen Zs recently, and they're addicted to video games, addicted to their phones. And we didn't pay for Wi-Fi when we went on the ship specifically for that reason. We wanted them to detox.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we just go by ourselves, though. So that's kind of nice.
And you know what? They did fine without the Wi-Fi.
Which was shocking because they cannot put their phones down, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, they had access to it when they got off the ship. They were able to get on the data plan or whatever, and that was fine.
I was expecting the addiction to be so strong that they'd be hitting us up for, you know, the use of our Wi-Fi, because we had it.
We had it because we needed it for work.
Work, yeah. So our question to you is, could you survive for a week without Wi-Fi?
Or would you need a detox plan?
Right. Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. Hey, you know, if you're watching this from TV and you'd like to leave a comment, go ahead and scan that QR code right there. That'll take you right to the channel and you can do whatever you want.
Leave us a comment, subscribe, and like.
Yeah, now we've got a much sweeter story, pun completely intended. The Van Leeuwen Ice Cream Company has partnered with Carnival Cruise Line and came out with a new flavor. You might have seen it everywhere. This thing is, all the influencers have it. It is Sunscreen-flavored ice cream.
Sounds horrid.
Yeah, so I don't want to, you know, bury the lead, but basically what everyone's saying is that it tastes actually pretty good. It's got a coconut vanilla thing happening.
Two of my favorite flavors.
Yeah. And it finishes with like a sea salt taste.
Yeah. It's okay, so the flavors sound delicious. It's just the name of it, sunscreen. Right. It sounds kind of gross because we've all like accidentally sprayed it in our mouth and just ugh. So I can't imagine why they would name it that.
Well, this isn't Van Leeuwen's, you know, first offense. Naming ice cream flavors weird, like pizza.
But those were flavored like pizza. Those who wants to eat pizza ice cream, Kraft macaroni and cheese. They partnered with Kraft to make that. And then Hidden Valley Ranch flavored ice cream. I mean, gross, grody to the max.
Way to bring that back to the 80s. I don't know, would you try it? I'm honestly, I'm an ice cream freak, so I'm trying it. I am on it.
Yeah.
You got vanilla, you got coconut.
Two of my favorites.
And they say it smells like sunscreen, but I think it depends on what kind of sunscreen that you actually use. Because you got those Hawaiian Tropic ones that smell really good, but then you've got the CVS brand that's white, that's really hard to rub in, that doesn't smell very good.
Doesn't smell great at all.
No, that's not the ones that you want to flavor your ice cream after, for sure.
Yeah. So tell us what you think. Obviously the flavor sounds good, right? Yeah. But what do you think of the name for this flavor? What do you think they should have named it?
Yeah, well, they're just trying to be kitschy.
Yeah, I know. Sunscreen? Mm-mm.
In this next story, you're not going to believe what this guy did to escape his casino gambling debt. We've got that and our Amazon Cruise Essentials contest video. Pick one of the two. They're coming up right now.